Winter is coming. Not that one, this one. And this time, it's not going to be good for the wallet. Heating prices have nearly doubled in the past year and it's going to get worse. So if you live in a 70 square meter apartment, you should ideally account for an additional cost of 200 to 300 euros this season. But when the cold kicks in, most of us just set the thermostat to somewhere between the middle and the high level and then totally forget about it until we get the utility bill next year. And trust me, this time it will be a lot higher if you don't do anything about it. But then there are some small habits that we can practice, some little hacks that we could do to reduce this extra burden, save some money and not freeze to death. So let's get started. You may have learned about this in your physics class. If you don't remember, here is a simple recap. When air is heated, the molecules expand, creating more space between them. This makes the air lighter and it rises up. And cold air takes its place. That's how hot air balloons work. But the same laws that lift the hot air balloons also applies when it comes to heating your home. When the air inside the apartment heats up, it becomes lighter and moves upwards. And if your apartment is not properly insulated, then that space will be filled with the cold air from outside. So it would be a good idea to walk around your home and check for such air leaks before you turn on your heater. The main places to look for are walls, windows, ceilings, doors, and power outlets. To spot a leak, light a candle and hold the flame near the opening. If the flame flickers, that could mean that the air is coming in. Once you find a leak, you can fix it with a weather strip. They are not expensive and can be found in every thickness and profiles in the nearest hardware store. This simple solution can save around 50 to 100 euros yearly in heating cost. And finally, if you are the owner and can afford to spend a bit more, then it would be a good idea to check and insulate the walls, the attic and the basement. But even if you manage to seal all the leaks, you will still lose about 30% of the heat through the windows. So adding an extra layer of insulation will help to keep the heat inside. You can do this by applying a thin plastic film or bubble wrap to cover the inside of your windows. Although it may not look pretty and will slightly affect the visibility, the extra layer will create an air pocket between your window and the outside cold air. You can also add to this insulation by installing heavy curtains in front of the windows or by simply closing the shutter. This simple step can cut down the heating cost by around 20%. And if you want to go all in the fight against cold, you can also use a small tape to attach the end of the curtain to the wall and also where the drapes come together. But there is a problem if you keep the curtains and the blinds closed all the time. You won't be able to take advantage of the most effective natural heater, the sun. That's why it's essential to keep the curtains and blinds open during the day, especially on the south-facing windows, because they bring in the warmest afternoon sun. Just don't forget to close the curtains at night to trap in the heat. But then, even if you perfectly insulate your windows, you may still have to open them occasionally to ventilate the apartment and keep away humidity and mold. And this, when not done correctly, can result in an additional 100 euros in the heating cost. Never keep and leave the windows tilted as we normally do in summer. There is an efficient and better way called shock ventilation, where you open the windows wide for shorter periods several times a day. It's not just the windows that take the heat out of your apartment. The ventilator fans in your kitchen and bathroom are equally responsible. Although they are good at removing undesirable smells and moisture, they also remove a lot of hot air from the inside. I'm not saying you should stop using them altogether, just don't leave them running for extended periods. And if we have to switch off the ventilator fans to save some heating costs, we can switch on the ceiling fans to save some more. We learned earlier that the air becomes lighter and rises up when it's hot. If you have a ceiling fan in your room, you can use that to push the warm air back down. But there is a catch. You have to get that fan to spin clockwise instead of the normal counterclockwise direction. And this can be changed by toggling a small switch on the base of the fan. Most of us have gotten used to warmer homes over the years, warmer than what is actually required. The Federal Environment Agency has a recommendation for the ideal temperature to be kept in each room. As a rule of thumb, the feel-good temperature for the living room is usually about 20 degrees, and for all the other rooms, it's in the range of 16 to 20 degrees. And the radiators that we have in our home have a thermostat with a 5-point scale. 3 is equivalent to about 20 degrees Celsius, and every additional step is about 3 degrees Celsius. Our bodies can gradually adjust to the ambient temperature. So try challenging your comfort habits once in a while. By setting the thermostat just 1 degree lower, you will save around 6% of the heating energy. This doesn't mean we should lower the temperature so much that we are miserable in our home. It's all about finding a balance between saving and staying warm. And also setting it to too low actually does more harm than good. The apartment will cool down too much and it will take longer and more energy to get a comfortable temperature back into the room. But when we are leaving home to go to work or while sleeping, it would be a good idea to turn down the temperature. In case you are lazy or can't bother to do that manually, then invest in a programmable thermostat. This will make life a lot easier by automatically adjusting the heat on a predetermined schedule. They are not super pricey and will last for decades, saving money every day. Another way to get more with less is by improving the efficiency of the radiators. If there are any obstacles or furniture in front of the radiator, then remove them. You can also attach an aluminum foil to the wall behind the radiator to reflect the heat back into the room. Also, before switching on the radiator, check and remove excess air inside the radiator pipes. Our homes or apartment doesn't have a problem with feeling cold. Only we have. So the warmer we feel inside, the less work the heating unit will have to do. By adding some more long sleeve shirts, sweaters and warm socks to our daily dress, we will actually be able to feel a lot warmer without having to turn the heat up high. The places where we lose most of the heat is our head and the feet. So cover that up with proper clothing to keep the body warm. If you can buy an electric heat blanket that you can put on your mattress, you'll be nice and warm throughout the night at a fraction of cost of heating the house or the room. Just don't make it so comfy that you won't ever want to leave your home. Once you have done prepping up yourself and your home, another thing you can do is to compare the various gas suppliers and try to get a better contract. Also, you can just call your provider and try to negotiate a better rate. There is a common misconception that having a fireplace can save on heating costs, but in reality, it can end up costing more depending on the type of fireplace you have. Wooden fireplaces are highly inefficient and around 80% of the heat escapes through the chimneys. And if you keep the flue open, then you allow a large quantity of precious warm air from all corners of your home to go out. For sure, it feels warm by the fire, but if we have learned anything about thermodynamics today, every air that goes up the chimney is replaced by cold air that is pulled into the house elsewhere. We have a wood burning stove in our apartment which is more efficient than an open fireplace. I will try it out this winter and do a video on how much it reduced the heating costs. Of course, everyone can invest in a new heating system or consider other expensive options. But these subtle habit changes that we do in our everyday life will make the most impact. To make this video short, I had to skip some information. So I've summarized everything and created a checklist that you can download from my website totally for free. You can find the link in the description below. I hope you found this video useful and it helps to save some of your hard-earned money this winter. And if you want to grow your money and protect it from inflation, you can watch this video to learn how to invest. Until I see you with another video, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the day.